Virginia Tech head coach Frank Beamer says he loves an early preseason test to get a gauge of his team. He is getting one in week 2, taking on Ohio State. And to join me now to talk about the Hokies and Buckeyes, the voice of the Hokies, Bill Roth. Bill, really appreciate you taking some time out to talk with us. Now, everyone was asking you how Michael Brewer would do in week 1. What was your impression of his game and his play against William & Mary?
He was really efficient, and he managed the game exactly the way the coaches had hoped he would, and I think that's exactly what we have this year. He's a 22-year-old college graduate who transferred to Virginia Tech from Texas Tech, and he brings all the intangibles that you'd like in a quarterback. He's also a third-generation quarterback. His dad and his grandfather were quarterbacks as well. So he has the lineage, he has the bloodlines, and he clearly has the talent, and I think he's going to be a really good quarterback here.
When I think about the great Frank Beamer teams offensively at Virginia Tech, I think about a running game. And it seems like the last couple of years they had a hard time establishing a running game. What's your sense of the O-line and running back depth and strength right now?
Well, you're not kidding. The Hokies finished 13th in the ACC last year in rushing, which is a historic low for Coach Beamer's program. This week going into Ohio State, the 2 freshmen are listed as co-number 1 at the tailback position. Shai McKenzie, who was named the ACC's Rookie of the Week, and Marshawn Williams, and they both look dynamite, but they're both freshmen, and they're going to play in front of 108,000 people on a primetime game Saturday night. That being said, both of those guys were really highly recruited, and you could tell in the spring that they've got great skill. They were all highly recruited kids, and it was a war to get both of them, and I'm glad they're here. I think you're going to hear a lot about Shai McKenzie and Marshawn Williams over the next 4 seasons here at Virginia Tech.
Sure, for sure. Now, somehow we made it through a couple minutes without talking about Bud Foster and the defense. What are the keys for the defense against that Ohio State offense?
Well, you know, when Braxton Miller went down, everybody thought Ohio State was going to be in for a tough season. I don't know that they're the favorites to win their division in the Big Ten anymore, although if you ask Buckeye fans, they still are. But there's no lack of talent. They've got great backs, great receivers, and a good quarterback. You know what's really neat, Jeff, in this game is Virginia Tech is playing Ohio State, and both of the quarterbacks are from Texas, of all places. They're different. Ohio State's is going to run around a little bit more, and the Hokies, Brewer's more of a pocket passer. But there's no shortage of talent, even without Braxton Miller at Columbus. It's going to be a heck of a football game.
Bill Roth, I feel you weaving the storylines already for Saturday night. I love it. Hey, all right, so look in your crystal ball. Play out the game for me. How do you see it laying out?
Well, it's going to be the biggest crowd they've ever had at Ohio State, and it's a Saturday night game. And the Hokies are going in there with a bunch of freshmen. So that makes a coach, particularly a guy that knows what he's doing like Frank Beamer, a little bit uneasy. But I think Tech's defense has enough. Ohio State has some inexperience on its offensive line, and they're going to be starting a quarterback who will be making his first start at home. And so, you know, there's butterflies on both sides when there's 108,000 people. And in the case of both quarterbacks, neither guy's ever played in a game like this. So I think the Tech defense has a chance to really keep it close, and I would be very surprised if it's not decided in the fourth quarter.
Bill Roth, the voice of the Hokies, really appreciate you taking some time out to talk to us here on the ACCDN.
My pleasure, Jeff. Thank you.
You're watching the ACC Digital Network, brought to you by Ruby Tuesday.